Good morning, it's Barbara. Happy New Year. It really is New Year. Yesterday it was New Year's Eve. It says raining. It's not raining now, but it probably will be later. Good morning, it's Barbara. I might fix the light later, but I just wanted to say good morning and Happy New Year. I've been trying to think of what we should call our make-along, which is, I am making another version of this. This is my Trove by Emily Ducher. And I was inspired to make another version of this sweater because of the gorgeous yarns that I have gotten for the past 2 years that Megan dyed in my advent that I exchanged with Megan. And those colors and that gift of her craft that she has given me brought me so much joy that I decided I really didn't want to just fritter it away in my blanket that I haven't worked on forever, or, you know, here and there or whatever. I did put a few of her colors in my hat last year. I did a hat. And, but for the most part, I have everything from last year and this year. Now the Trove starts out, has a main color, and then uses 4 different colors. I don't know if it's obvious to you. 2 of my colors are close. I have a gray and a beige. And these colors, these opposite colors, the you know, red, brick red and blue and beige and gray, are the colors that I used in my exploration station. In fact, they were the leftovers for the most part. I think one color I had to add. And I can't remember for the life of me where I was going with that. But anyway, the yarn that I'm going to make this with is really lovely. The main color is going to be pink, and then these are all going to be different colors. Now you can see the pattern here. You have 1 row of a color, then 2 rows of another color, then 1 row, then 2 rows, then 1 row, then 2 rows, then 1 row, then 2 rows. And I think I am going to keep that pattern, although I don't have any expectation after I've done the 2 rows of a color to use that color again, unless I need to at the bottom or in the sleeves. You can see all my dog hair, but you can get a good look at it's only 3 colors. No, it's 4 colors. Yeah, it's 4 colors. Anyway, because this yarn brings me so much joy, and because people want to participate in the knit along but don't want to knit a trove, or don't have minis, or aren't perhaps garment knitters, and I want everybody to be able to participate in this knit along. So I have decided it's the Joyous 2025 knit along, make along. It doesn't have to be knit. The Joyous 2025 make along. And I want you to make whatever brings you joy. Now, using Megan's yarns and using her gorgeous minis is going to bring me joy, but I don't want people to have to go out and buy minis if they don't have any scraps left and don't, or I don't want people to be left out if they're not garment knitters. I don't want anyone left out. So whatever you make that brings you joy. I was going to say you have to wear it, it can't be a toy or a blanket, but it can be those things too. Whatever brings you joy. We're doing a year-long joyous 2025 knit along. Whatever brings you joy. And if I can get my act together today, I will start a thread on Ravelry if you want to post your things. If you don't use Ravelry, you can send me a picture and I'll figure out how to post it and include you in the make along, because I want everybody to participate. Megan is going to dye a skein of yarn as a prize. Carol said that she would donate a prize, so maybe we'll have, you know, quarterly prizes, something like that. We'll certainly have some patterns, if nothing else. So anyway, last night, we were listening to music, I was reading a book, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to punk out, and I'm not going to swatch, and I'm not going to get ready for this knit along. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. Prize-winning procrastinator here. But after Aura went up, Dennis sat down in the living room with me, and we were having our champagne and having conversation, and then he said, oh, let's watch something easy, something cozy. And I'm like, you know what? He said, I don't know, something like Poirot. So that's what we did. We put Poirot on from the very beginning, the first episode of the David Suchet series, which spanned years. I think 25 years they did that series. There were 12 series, but I think it took them whatever. Anyway, the first one is the Clapham Cook, and that's where we started. And so while we were watching Poirot, I did my swatch. So this is what my sweater is going to look like. This is actually the light pink, but since there's actually such a, this is the main color, that you start with the main color, and it has sort of a patch across the shoulder. I'm going to use the skein I have that has more speckles, so it's a little darker, because I do love those speckles so much. But this is what mine's going to look like. And then I realized that I was supposed to be doing the gauge swatch in the what they call dotted stripes stitch pattern. And so I started doing the stitch pattern. Then I decided to see what it looks like, because I did one pattern and you couldn't see it very well, but also that was because it was the first one. So I got one of the minis, this is a green, it's hard to tell, and did one row of the stitch pattern, and then I decided I really don't want to use my minis for my swatch. So I went back and just did it in the pink, and I think it's a very interesting stitch pattern, don't you think? I think that would be a gorgeous stitch pattern for a, you know, textured cardigan or a textured sweater without changing the color. So I was very intrigued by that because I really like the way it looks, and it's an easy pattern to knit, and it's an easy pattern to remember. So anyway, that grabbed me, but I had knitting this sweater, I hadn't realized what it would look like all in one color. But anyway, I did my gauge swatch. And I blocked it. Now, when I was doing it, of course, I was, checking it. And I thought I was off. The gauge is 22 stitches for 4 inches, and I thought I was getting 24. So I was a little bit kicking myself because I had gone through the pattern and I had highlighted my size. And then I realized if my stitch count was off by almost 10%, I was going to need to go up a size to get the same amount of ease that I had been going for. This sweater has some ease, but not a lot of ease. I'm going to make this sweater with more ease. The pattern calls for 6 to 12 inches of positive ease. Now the model is wearing Oh, she has a 34.5-inch bust, and she's wearing size 2. And size 2 is 41 inches. So she has a 34.5-inch bust, and her sweater is, what did I just say? 41 inches. So she has 6.5 inches, 7.5 inches of ease on her sweater. And I think I want something like that. So maybe a little more. The one I picked is a little bit more. But when I checked it this morning, it turns out that I'm right exactly on. Yeah, right. But anyway, I like the fabric. I don't want it looser by any means. It's already not going to be a super warm sweater. Yeah. So I wouldn't want it any looser, which is what I would have to do to make the stitch count come out right if I was correct in that I had a 24 stitches instead of the 22. And you would think, oh, that's close enough. That's 10%. And, you know, that can make a big difference. But it turns out when I wet it and blocked it, it came out just right. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the size that I marked. And I am ready to go with my trove. Now, I know there are quite a few of you who are making a trove also. I'm very excited to see our troves because this is something that, you know, well, I mean, obviously, my new one is going to look very different than my first one. But I really like that texture on that, which isn't quite somehow quite so obvious to me when it's in this alternate color. I mean, you can see it looks very different on the one row than it does in the other rows. Anyway, it's pretty funny. She calls this the dotted striped stitch pattern. Anyway, so I started my trove last night. Well, I didn't cast it on, but I swatched. I know what size, and I'm ready to go. And I'm excited. So I'll be doing short rows today. The other thing, I started reading the pattern. I don't remember anything about the construction of this sweater. It's been quite a while since I knit this sweater. And I started reading the pattern, and I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, if I wanted to work that hard, thinking about a sweater, I would be working on my hood, on my Montrealer. But then I realized what was going on, and I calmed down. So the note on the trove is a seamless sweater worked from top down with short rows for shoulders. Front and back are knitted flat and joined under armholes. Body is knitted in the round to the hem, then sleeves are picked up and knitted in the round to the wrist. So this, until you get to here, is knit flat. And that's the thing that I'm like, what? When I'm reading the directions, I'm what? But that's the plan, plan. Anyway, I am ready to begin, I think. And, yeah. Yeah. So yesterday we schlepped Aura's old box springs across the yard to our abandoned house next door. It is not livable, which is why nobody lives there. And If and when we move forward with building our new house, it will be torn down. It's a tear down. But we use it for storage at the moment. And got to be careful what you store in there because there's no heat or anything. But a box springs works. So we put Aura's box spring in there. We got her a new, smaller platform so her bed isn't quite so tall. And it's easier for her to get in and out of. So we did that. Yeah, Dennis did all the work on that. But I helped him carry the box springs and we got it across the yard and next door. So that's good. So we did that yesterday. Dennis made us crab cakes for dinner and we had champagne. And we welcomed 2025 and we said good riddance to 2024. And it's a little bit like on your birthday, I don't feel any older, you know. Obviously it doesn't feel really different, but I have hopes. I have hopes. Expectations, maybe not, but hopes. Anyway, so joyous 2025 make along. Please join me however you want to. Whatever will bring you joy to work on, please do that. Please do that and join us. And it's a year-long make along. If you've already started something that's bringing you joy, I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, every time I try to think of a rule, I always think, but what if somebody blah, blah, blah. I'm fine with no rules, you know. I'm fine with no rules. But if you're just casting off, seems like no. Just saying. But meanwhile, yeah. I don't know. I'm so in love with that texture. How much fun is that? It looks wavy on the phone. It looks wavy in person too. Looks wavy. There you go. So we'll see how far I get today. I'm not pressuring myself. I have a year. And so we just need to find the things that bring us joy in 2025. And they count. They just count. We just need to make sure not only let them count, but also recognize the things that bring us joy and put time and energy into those things. That's my vow for 2025, to try to put time and energy into the things that bring me joy. So I don't have any other plans for today. I'm go up and give Aura her coffee. She hasn't had her coffee yet, which is rude. She's just getting up. I can hear her. And start my day. Make sure my cord on my needle is long enough. I think it is, that the needle I did this on should work. I came across so many new cords in the course of clearing my room for Christy that I'm looking forward to having the correct size cord. But that's a swatch. That's a swatch. Lying liar of a swatch. Let's hope not. But they often are. They often let me down, let me just say. All right, I'm going to go. I'm rambling now, starting the new year with a ramble. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please. And I hope you find something joyous to work on to join the make-along. And we'll all enjoy seeing what's bringing you joy. So I'll try to work on starting a thread. If you go to put something and you don't find a thread, you could start a thread. Just saying. I might edit your first post and say, by the way, these are the rules. No rules. This is what I'm going to do. If you don't mind. If you mind if I do that, then don't start the thread. Wait for me. Otherwise, anyway, all right, that's enough. Ramble. Please, 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 please have a wonderful, glorious, joyous 2025. Stay safe and stay safe.